Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to start a drawing file for our project in IED 6.5 because at this point you should have made your parts with your partner and you need to make some drawing files of those. Okay, so for my project, I'm going to say I made this simple wheel, all right, and an axle. Okay, um, so now I want to make a drawing file. I've actually got it here kind of completed, but let's look at what that process involves. This is what the final product might look like. It's a little messy, but something like this, an orthographic view or more, depending on how many you need, the isometric, of course, and the parts list, which we'll get to how to add that. Okay, so hopefully you remember this a little bit. What we need to do is go to File, New, and we're going to create a drawing file. Now, for this demonstration, I'm just going to do the axle, and I'll show how to put a few of those dimensions on. But as soon as you have a drawing file like this, a DWG file, first thing we need to do is let's get rid of this ANSI block. So right-click on it, delete, and we need to change the sheet size. So I'm going to change the sheet size to B is kind of what I want, I think. Um, I might even go smaller than that. I'm going to do the A size. So again, I'll go to Edit Sheet and choose A size, click OK. And this is going to be perfect for me. So now I need to, that I've deleted the ANSI block and I've changed the sheet size, I need to actually add the base of my model, okay, which I'm going to do the axle. So I click Base, and it's going to let me choose that file, which is already selected here. If it wasn't, I could go digging around in a folder to find it by clicking this option. All right, so you can see it's starting to show the axle there. That's definitely going to be too small. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change my scale. I'm not clicking OK or anything yet. All right, be careful about clicking once you've opened Base because you can kind of stop the process short. We don't want to do that yet. So I'm going to change this all the way to 3:1. All right, I'm going to say, and I'm not going to click OK yet. I'm going to place these. So we're going to put this here, put a top view up here, put an isometric over here, and a side view over here. Okay, well now I'll click OK because everything's in there. And if I look at this, I realize, you know what? I don't need this view actually, or this view. This should have been my real front view. I can get away with just these two. So I can delete those by right-clicking and saying delete. So I'm going to say OK. With this, if I delete that, it's going to try to delete everything, and I do not want that. So say delete. I do not want to delete the dependents, so I'm going to say no, toggle that and say OK. And now I'm left with these. Well, let's center them. All right, so using these letters and these arrows, let's put this view in a real nice kind of placement. So maybe about here. All right, this I can leave up there. I kind of like that angle that it's at. But let's get busy now with the modeling or the dimensioning. All right, so to do that, I've got my view. I am now going to go to Annotate, Dimension, and I'll start putting dimensions on here. Let me zoom in a little bit. One thing that would be important for this is to have a center line going all the way through to show that this is indeed a circular object. So I can create that by clicking my center line, and let's see if I can do this right the first time. This time I kind of messed this up earlier. So I'm going to click there. I'm going to right click and say create, and then I'm going to edit this to make sure it is the way I want it to be. All right, so try to click it, and it's not really, oh, that's still chosen. So I'm going to hit escape to get rid of that. Okay, now I can edit this. So I'm going to drag it all the way through and just a little beyond my object lines, right? Perfect, I got a center line. Okay, so next I'm going to start dimensioning things here. All right, if there were other holes or circles, hidden lines, we might need to include those. Fortunately, it includes the hidden lines for you, but things like center lines you have to add yourself. So that's a good thing to remember when you're doing drawing files. But let's go to dimension, and let's just dimension some of this here. So let's dimension from here to here, this overall dimension. I could do it like that, or I could just go to my center line and say how big of a revolution that is. So let's do that instead. Come over here, put 0.20. Let's also put, it's always going to give you this when we dimension like this. So just click OK each time. You can add other features later if you wanted them. But let's dimension from here again to the center line, and we'll put that over here. Say OK. Now the number's kind of messed up right now. It's maybe not the worst place in the world for that. I guess I could escape out of dimension. So I hit escape, so that goes away. I could drag this, whoops, down on the other side. Okay, so it's not crossing over anything now. And then I could dimension here. We kind of have to dimension this hidden line. Oops, so I gotta click dimension, click that line, click the center line again, and we'll put that right there. Say OK. And so I've got some of the dimensions here. Well, if we want to get really fancy, like I did with this, there are a lot of little dimensions to get in there, right? Like this, what they call kind of step dimension, from the top of this angle to the bottom, so to speak, of that angle. Or in this case, I guess it's from the bottom up to the top. This space right here, right? This space from this line to this line, this line to the center line. Those have all been dimensioned. The nice thing for this project, you do not need to go to that level of detail. So basically, if you can just give me overall dimensions from like here to here, say OK, and maybe the overall kind of height of this thing, which a 0.20 radius is fine to know. That's basically all you need to know or do. If you want to and go to a level like I did here, that's fine. I just hope yours looks a little neater than this does. I should probably space these a little differently, that kind of thing. Okay, so overall dimensions, that's all you need to do. Now let's insert a parts list so we get something like this here. Okay, this isn't so bad. What you have to do is go to, let's see, parts list. We're going to select the axle. Okay, so whatever file you're working on, that's the one you want. And let's just click OK. And it should give us the option to put it in here. Awesome, there it is. The thing is, I don't want this particular information. I want different information. So I edit that by coming to my browser, right-clicking, saying Edit Part List. And let's go to this here, Column Chooser. And we are going to remove some of these things. Like we don't need that. In fact, we don't need like any of these things almost. And instead, these are the ones I want you to include. File name, designer, mass, volume, and material. Okay, and mass, and I'm going to put, whoops, mass add, material add. I'm going to put these out of order just to show you how to fix it if you do that. Whoops, I got these reversed. Well, this is all you have to do. Move up. Okay, and that'll help you reorder those. I'm going to click OK. Okay, and boom, I've got my parts list. Let's move it a little bit so it's fully in the thing. And there we go. It says the file name, the designer. Hopefully this has your student number in it. The mass, the volume, and the material. So I only did the generic material, but I hope some of you actually put the material you thought your part was made out of. So then when you've got this, you are done. Okay, this is what you'll include in your presentation, and to create that presentation you can use Google Slides, a Google Drawing, or Prezi. Those are great tools for presenting your reverse engineering project where you created the parts and yeah, looked at all their properties. All right, hope this helped.